Juice, 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 juice. Hello, friends. Welcome to User Friendly. My name is Roberto Hoyos, and I am the owner of a company called Throwboy. I'm here with my friend
Erfon Elijah. I am a writer for cultomatic.com, and I own MikeTees.com. Small indie brand. Did you like how I took a sip of my green juice during that? You probably didn't even notice.
I'm trying to think of a good quote here. No, I didn't.
I'm waiting to hear something inspirational. Anyway, tell us about User Friendly.
User Friendly is a weekly podcast in video format where we talk about technology, geek culture, our favorite things on the web, and so on and so forth.
And the green juice.
And we drink things out of Erfon's garbage blended into a smoothie.
I can taste my old shoes. So we should actually take a minute to talk about this because you guys actually ask us about this a lot. So I have this blender that's as powerful as a pickup truck, and it has a blade that's like literally this long, and it's like a freaking helicopter. So I can put anything in there: old shoes, vegetables, blend it all together.
And he takes the will it blend thing very literally.
Yeah, right. I put my old iPhone in there.
Yeah. This was a palm tree this morning.
Yeah, right. There's some grass clippings in here too. Actually, so you can see it's bright green. It's usually a lot of different like green vegetables, and then I put like just enough of something sweet in there so that I don't yak when I drink it. And I was just telling Roberto before we recorded that today for the first time I made a smoothie.
A money shake.
It was pure nastiness. It was so gross that after I took my first sip, I had to like back my head up off of it involuntarily. And I was like, nope, you gotta put something better in there.
You basically did what we just saw where you
right. I immediately shot myself.
And you scarfed an apple to get the taste out of your mouth.
I put my tongue under the faucet and I started scrubbing it with the dish brush.
The steel wool.
Steel wool. Like the kind that comes like pre-soaped. Anyway. So it's been a big week.
Yeah, man. How
big week for tech.
How have you been, though?
I've been great.
Yeah.
I have been busy with the Cultcast. We're making lots of well, not changes, but we are growing the show, or the show's growing, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with it next. And it's been cool. We've been talking to some advertisers, you know,
Nice.
So that's been good. And then of course with the Apple keynote that was yesterday, that's just taking up a lot of my time because I got to tweet about this stuff all day long.
Yeah.
So
I know.
that's pretty much that's pretty much my entire job. What about you?
Been good. I've been actually gave blood over the weekend. Yep, doing my
Voluntarily?
doing my part, I guess. Have you ever done blood, like given or had blood tests?
Oh
on you or
yeah.
anything like
Oh
that?
yeah, I've done all of it. I've given plasma, I've given blood. So I haven't done it in a while though.
Any cool blood stories?
Yes, actually, I do have a great blood story. So, I went to the Olive Garden for lunch one time and ate their soup and salad deal, and it's super cheap and it's pretty good. And then I went to the plasma place afterwards to donate. And they're taking out my plasma. I don't know if you've ever had it done. They pull it out, they pull your blood out, and they filter out your plasma, and they put your blood back in you. And so you can see your plasma in a little thing, and it's clear, and your plasma's clear. Usually you can see right through it to the other side. It's like glass. So mine's coming out, and it's like kind of white. So the lady comes up to me, and she's getting my stuff ready. I'm looking around, because everyone's on a bed facing each other in this huge room.
Yeah.
And I can see everyone else's plasma looks different than mine. So the nurse comes over and I'm like, is there something weird going on with my plasma? She's like, did you just eat lunch or anything? And I was like, yeah, I just ate at the Olive Garden. She's like, I don't think we're even going to be able to use this because it's filled with so much fat that we're probably just going to have to dump it out. And it's weird. I was like shamed that my plasma looked so much worse than everyone else's, and I was like, I don't normally eat at this place. I just happened to do this before I came here, which was true.
I normally only drink green shakes.
I normally only drink green shakes. My plasma is super strong. So they took it, and they ended up not even using it.
I was thinking of a different blood test story that you were going to tell me about.
Oh yeah, well we can talk about that. That's a whole different show entirely. So
come on.
well, it's a long story, but I can just say this. For a week, actually this is related to the plasma thing because they're the ones that raised the flag. They called me in and told me that I had HIV, and of course that was awful, and I was shocked. And then a week later, I had to go back and get tested again, and there's two different kinds of tests they do. One is kind of like they test for the antibody that your body produces when you have HIV, and I think that's called the Western blot. And then there's another test that actually tests for the HIV virus itself, and that one's much more accurate. But most people don't have antibodies for HIV, but you can produce a similar antibody if you have something else, like mono or something. So they call me in, I go back and get tested, and I didn't have HIV, and the lady's like, oh, she was really sorry, of course, right? Because I mean, like,
you thought for a whole week.
Yeah, I mean, she told me, she was like, we'll retest you. She's like, but I want you to know that these tests are rarely wrong.
Oh my God.
So I mean, I was like, okay, I thought I had HIV. It's just insane. And I was trying to figure out how I would have gotten it. And then I went back in, and sure enough, she was like, no, you don't have it. And she's like, and the strange thing is, you were like the second or third false positive we've had this month. So something was either going around that was making people produce these antibodies, or their testing methods something was going on that was weird with them. So yeah, it was one of the worst weeks of my life. I mean, talk about something that changes your life instantly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's few points in your life where there's a before and after. You know what I mean? And that was one of those moments where I was like, my life has totally, the path of my life has totally changed forever.
That's actually interesting too. It's just like, did it make you go like, well, I don't want to do this, and this anymore. I want to change my life to be different. Or was it once you found out the news, you're just like, all right, phew.
No,
Go back to smoking 20 packs a day.
No, because at that point in my life, I'd actually given up a lot of that stuff anyway. Because I used to smoke actually a long time ago, which if you do, you should quit because it's terrible for you.
You love to say that to people.
I do, because I mean, smoking is awful, and I smoked for such a long time. I know how hard it is to quit. But I sometimes think about what I've learned from that situation, and I haven't come to anything conclusive. And I know eventually I'm going to look back and I'll be like, okay, well, this is how it affected me. But I haven't reached that moment yet. And when I do, I'm going to try to do a Ignite talk about it.
You should. I was telling you, actually, we talked about that before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should totally do that. It's funny. I didn't think it was going to be, I thought it was going to be this kind of funny story that you were going to tell me.
No, it's not a funny story at all. I mean, it's kind of like, haha, that sucks funny.
Yeah.
But there's nothing comical about it because when you think you have HIV, it's like obviously not a funny topic.
It's just like a nervous laugh from my voice.
Oh, you're like, we cut, and I'm sitting here crying.
Yeah. Well, moving on. I didn't actually give any blood. I just wanted to hear your story.
Oh, you didn't? Dude, you pansy. You should go give blood. The crazy part is I'm actually not allowed to give blood or plasma now.
Oh, is that right?
Even though I've been cleared, I'm totally healthy, there's nothing wrong with me. As a precaution, anyone who ever tests positive for certain things gets put on a blacklist. So if I were to go give blood, they would take it, but then they would check the blacklist and they would throw it away.
Wow.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because I actually liked giving blood. Like, I was one of those people that did it pretty regularly, because I knew it helped people.
I mean, I like the idea of it. I just hate that feeling.
The actual thing of it. Yeah, it is kind of a weird feeling to have something in your arm. Hey, let's talk about something else that's fun to talk about.
And maybe something
Apple.
That's topical. All right. So Apple announced a whole bunch of hardware bomb.
Hardware bomb.
And that was yesterday. And
that was yesterday morning.
They actually did a live stream, which was a rare thing.
Yeah, so I thought it was the first time they've done a live stream, but I guess that's not true.
It's not true. If you go back to even some old, early, like, Steve Jobs keynotes when he just came back, like in the early 2000s, they're like, we're streaming this live to blah, blah, blah. Actually, it's in the 90s when they're like, we're streaming it live to, like, 20,000 people or something.
20,000?
Yeah. But, like, there's some early ones. And I think here and there, more recently, they did some. But it's been a really long time. And that people were saying it's probably because it was such an intimate venue that a lot of the journalists wouldn't have been able to be like, you know, not everybody like in the press would have been able to go to it, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, they did a live stream.
Which was awesome. I hope they continue doing this.
Yeah, it was really cool. I actually had trouble because I was using Chrome. I know probably some people did this too.
I did it first too.
And I ended up using, I ended up finding it on Ustream, which is basically all somebody was doing was sharing their screen and Ustreaming it.
Why not just switch to Safari?
Well, that's the thing is like after I started using it on Ustream, I was fine and it worked perfectly. And then I saw tweets that were like, just use Safari, and I was like, well, I don't care anymore. It's like it's working, so I don't care. But anyway, so what did they announce, Mr. Apple?
Well, I thought they announced a lot. We pretty much just got 4 things. So we got the iPad Mini, of course, which everyone was expecting. We had the updated iPad, the full-size one, so it's basically the iPad 4. We had new Mac Minis, which are basically the same. They just have updated hardware, and then we have updated, or I should say, new Retina display MacBook Pros, the 13-inch model. So there didn't used to be a 13-inch model that had the Retina display and no optical drive, and now there is.
The line's rounded out. The circle is now complete.
The circle is now complete, and you know, honestly, the 2 things I were most excited about were the iPad Mini, obviously, but the other thing that kind of surprised me is Apple announced their Fusion drives.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It was very interesting, and this is something that we talked about on the other podcast I do, the Cultcast, before, because you can buy hybrid drives, and that's essentially what the Fusion drive is. It kind of pairs together fast flash memory with a mechanical type hard drive. And normally people have to have one of each to kind of get the best of both worlds. I do on this computer, so do you.
Yeah.
And we use our SSD drives, our flash drives for storing apps, that type of thing. And then we use our mechanical hard drives for storing things we don't access very often. Well, Apple has released a Fusion drive that is created to work seamlessly with their software. So what we normally have to do is we have to figure out, well, what should we put on our SSDs and what should we put on our hard drives to make our computer run the fastest? Well, the Fusion drive does that for you.
Yeah.
So it figures out what you use the most, and it will automatically move that stuff to the flash portion of the hard drive. It's all one hard drive.
Yeah.
It's not 2. And then that way you don't have to worry about it. And I'm like, man, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And it solves a major problem that I think a lot of people have had with SSDs and seem to not be going away anytime soon, and that is SSD drives are small and expensive.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to downgrade your files or put them onto a backup drive or something. And Apple's selling these machines that are you're supposed to use for iPhoto, and iMovie. And I'm like, dude, how are you going to do that on MacBook Airs? They sell them with 64 gigs.
Well, here's the issue, though. Those are not available for portables. Those are available for the desktop.
That's true, for the desktops only.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's the big issue is like, yes, it's awesome that it's on the new iMac, but I mean, it's definitely what is like over 70 to 80% of their sales are for portables and not for desktops, you know? So we're still like, yes, I understand the transitional phase, you know, and it's a weird time right now because people are trying to push you to the cloud. The cloud isn't really quite fast enough or ready to be able to use for large files.
And it may not be for a long time.
You know, and so like things like that are just kind of a bottleneck for being able to get get fully like, you know, the speeds and the storage that we're used to or that we would like.
That's true.
But I do like this idea of the Fusion drive. I think it's really cool. I just think that I'm not trying to buy an iMac anytime soon.
Oh, well, that's another thing they updated. So we have brand new iMacs, which aren't just updated on the inside; they're updated on the outside, and they look
slick, man.
amazing. Yeah. Do you want to get your camera for this? Actually,
they do a really great job with the photography of those because
they really do.
I'm sure you're going to talk about the thinness.
So the thinness is crazy. It kind of it is teardrop shaped, kind of, but it's not from the top to the bottom. It's kind of from like the back to the front.
Yeah. And
at the edge, it's edge to edge glass, and at the edge they've narrowed it out to a really flat bezel. It looks very much like the new MacBook Pros do when you open them up on the screen. It's the very same shape. Look at those vents on the bottom.
Yeah. It's crazy, but then it actually goes out like a bulge in the back.
Yeah, and then it tapers off at the top too. But they eliminated the optical drive.
Yep.
Just kind of like we were expecting, It's 8 pounds lighter than the old iMac, so if you want to take it to Starbucks like a total chode, you can do that.
It has an SSD card reader, which I don't believe the other one had.
Oh, an SD card reader.
Oh, sorry, SD
Oh yeah,
card reader.
I think you're right. I don't think it had that either.
Yeah.
It just looks
Crazy.
It looks svelte.
It looks like an artist render.
Yeah, it does. It looks like the kind of like renderings you see before a product actually bemes real.
Yeah, and you're just like, that's not a physical thing. There's no way they can make it like that.
Right. Man, I wish I had a reason to buy one of these. Let's see if we can do the
Yeah.
Where is the
Go up. There's no buy button yet?
No, it doesn't go on sale quite yet, but
there's no build to order button yet?
Oh, view the gallery. This is what I wanted to actually view. So here we go.
Can you move it around?
No, but I can go like this.
They took that away because they don't want you to see the bulge.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
They've always had on Apple's site you can like view stuff 360, like you can turn it.
This is really interesting.
And this is like they're always positioning it so that you can't see the back of this computer.
Yes. This is strange because they're touting the thinness, and look from that angle it looks razor thin.
Yeah.
But they don't show any side profile pictures or any pictures of the back where the connections are.
And they always do that for the iMac because they were always really proud of like, look, it's all in one. It's all in this thin thing. Even though thin started at almost like 2 inches and went down to maybe like 1. But now it's like ridiculous.
Dude,
and
that's
all their photography
really funny.
Is like a little bit off kilter.
Yeah, it doesn't show you the actual profile of the unit. Let me see if I can.
I saw somebody. I think it was like MG Siegler. He did an Instagram of the exact profile, so you can see it on there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe you can find that. I don't know.
Let's see, MG Siegler.
Instagram.
Instagram. Can you just look at somebody's Instagram?
Not really. I mean, there you can. Actually, his About Me should be linked up to his Instagram.
Yeah, it is. There we go.
There, that should be able to show it.
Oh wow, that's kind of cool. That
was it him? Maybe it wasn't him.
I don't think it was him.
Yeah, it was someone else.
Because of course he got to go.
Yeah, because he was at the event. Okay, never mind.
Oh well. That's really interesting that they are kind of concealing that.
Yeah.
It's an amazing looking computer. What other computers would you be proud to put like in your living room that look awesome?
Yeah, I mean, ideally I think it would be great to have a big screen for like when I feel like sitting down at a desk, you know?
Yeah.
But I would much rather just get a Thunderbolt display and just call it good. And have my laptop.
Yeah, me too.
My friend has that. Actually, he has 2 Thunderbolt displays, and it's awesome. Like he has this little loft.
Mm-hmm.
John has this, and then he just uses like, I think he doesn't have an
The
Air.
governor himself, does he have 2 30 inches?
They don't go up to 30 anymore.
They don't?
No. They go up to like 27 or something.
Lame. Oh yeah, because they probably use the same one from the iMac.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But anyway, yeah, that's a sweet setup, you know, rather than just getting an iMac, like, I don't know, then everything's not on your one computer. Like you're doing work usually from one thing, right?
Yeah.
You're not usually splitting up like that's my work PC and this is my fun PC.
Plus it's easy to have a notebook computer when you're in your living room. It's like I don't have a place to put a freaking
computer
iMac in my living room at all.
Yeah.
Dude, well, let's talk about the most important thing, obviously. Actually, 2 things. So, iPad, right?
iPad.
I'm pissed. So, if you were following me on my Twitter...
This is insane. I want to know your take on this.
Apple killed the baby. 7 months. 7 months after I purchased my $800 iPad 3... the new iPad
with LTE.
With LTE.
Yeah.
Is it Apple LTE? It is LTE. Uh-huh. Apple releases an updated iPad, the 4th generation. I'm going to call it the iPad 4 because they're not even calling it the new iPad anymore. They're just calling it iPad. So it has an updated graphics chip. So it uses the A6X chip, which means it's 2 times faster computationally, 2 times faster graphically. They also improved the Wi-Fi connectivity, making it up to 2 times faster. Has the Lightning connector now.
What is it using for the Wi-Fi to be faster?
I think they just made it.
Spec?
I don't think so. I think they're just using a newer spec or newer version of the same spec. I think.
But it's not called like NX or something.
No, it's still N. So at least that's as far as I can tell. So. I think this caused a lot of controversy. I'm happy for the people who are getting the new iPad. No hard feelings, obviously. I'm not stupid. But I'm pissed. I just bought this device 7 months ago. It cost me $800.
And you bought it new.
I bought it brand new
Think
right
of the
when it came
people that
out.
bought it like 2 months ago.
Yeah, of which several of you on Twitter told me you just bought this thing 60 days ago.
It's crazy.
And now, so now you can buy the iPad 3 refurbished, which you could before, but because it's not the newest iPad, you can get the same iPad that I paid over $800 for like, I think like $600 including tax.
Jeez.
So it's just.
Apple,
I know people are like, this is the way technology goes.
That's the thing. Is like Apple's done that before. They've done it with quite a few products.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was that whole thing where they lowered the price of the iPhone, and everyone.
Well,
went
that's
crazy.
exactly what Leander brought up when
Yeah.
we were doing the podcast, and I was like, that's exactly what I thought of. I'm like, we kind of got screwed.
Yeah, but then see, like, what makes me sort of mad is that, like, to us, this is a bomb, right? To Apple, this was set in motion. This was a plan. This was a plan to put out an iPad for how long? 7 months.
Yep.
That was like a written down thing, and then we will replace it with this on October 23rd.
Yep.
That was their freaking plan.
That was
That's
their roadmap.
insane,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, it's not just like, oh, we improved and let's get rid of this other thing. It's like, no, we'll put out that 30-pin version and we'll get it the fuck out of here when we're done.
Right,
you know?
because the iPad 3 really wasn't all that different from the iPad 2. In fact,
It was
the only
slower,
thing,
right?
It was. I didn't really notice it to be slower, but the only thing between the 2 and the 3 was they added a Retina display and instead of the A5 chip, the A5X chip.
Yep.
Because the A5X chip needed to push all those graphics, and I think they added 512 megabytes of RAM. So other than that, you had the same iPad, and every time you sell an iPad on Craigslist or eBay, you take a big hit.
It seems really odd too, because it's like they could have coasted into the holiday season and sold zillions of these things without ever having to change it.
Yep.
And the iPhone 5 is so new that not a lot of people give a crap about it not having lightning connector on the iPad. People are like actually like that more because most people have more cables or accessories that would work with it.
That's probably another reason why Apple did it, right? Because now they're going to sell even more lightning connectors.
I mean, they're trying to push it away.
cables.
It just seems like a really odd timing. Like, couldn't you time that better, or just wait till now to release a new iPad in general? You know?
Yeah. Oh, I think for profit-wise, they probably timed it perfectly, right? Because in the beginning of November, they are going to be finalizing the Lightning spec and their licensing stuff with third parties, so they can start manufacturing these things, right?
I wonder how that works.
But there's not a chance they're going to get them finished in 30 days. When they're going to make everyone miss the holiday season. So the only place you can get a Lightning cable or adapter from is Apple.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
And now every device has a Lightning connector. All the new iPods do, the iPhone does, and now the iPad and the iPad Mini do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're set, man. Time to buy Apple stock. That's what you should be buying. Don't buy an iPad, buy Apple stock. Actually, it's actually dropped, so it's a great time to buy.
Well, let's talk about the big announcement.
Okay, so the iPad Mini.
Yeah.
Let's bring it up right here. Boom. Boom. Every inch of it is an iPad. Make your own joke there. So design. So it's designed to fit in a hand. I think it's very much kind of designed like the iPhone 5. It has that same bezel on the outside that's kind of like shiny and stuff. I think it looks amazing. It's super thin, 7.6 millimeters or something. Yeah.
So much glare.
And let me see if I can bring up a gallery of it somewhere here. Let's see here. Features. You would think... Oh, let's just watch the video. You want to do that?
We designed the iPad.
You want to watch Johnny Ives speak for a sec?
I want to see the ad.
From the very beginning, the iPad was designed to be very powerful, very capable, but also remarkably simple to use. So our goal was to take all the amazing things that you can do with a full-size iPad, but pack them into a product that is so much smaller. And that's what we did with the new iPad Mini.
One of the things that makes iPads so incredible is that there's almost no end to what you can do with them.
Okay.
So when we decided to make the iPad Mini,
I just wanted to hear Johnny Ive talk. So it's smaller. The back is made very similarly to the iPhone 5, so you can get it in slate, black, or the gray material that they put on the iPhone 5. You could basically say this is an iPad 2. It uses almost all the same internal parts.
That's what I hear, yeah.
If not the exact same, the same camera, the A5 chip that was used in the iPad. It has the same screen resolution as the iPad 2.
It's interesting how they slyly like said that in the announcement. They're like, look, it's perfectly comparable to the iPad 2. You know, it's like they kind of like said it in this very touting way, and it was just like, well, what about that other thing that you guys have, like the new one, not the one that you're like comparing it to 2 generations ago.
It's twice as powerful as the iPad 1.
Yeah, actually, Apple's done that in the past. Steve Jobs compared the Nano, the first Nano that was like ridiculously thin, to the first iPod, which was like that.
Which was like this big. It's like carrying around a external hard drive with a screen on it.
Like, look it's 100%.
It fits in your pocket. Apple Pocket extensions required. the Apple Pocket extension.
So what do you think? What's your first impression?
I'm excited about it. I think it looks amazing. The big controversy has been the price. So people thought this was going to be priced similarly to the Kindle Fire HD, the Nexus 7 tab.
Yeah.
You know what? People are like, dude, I've been reading people online saying, dude, this isn't anything like the Nexus 7 tab. No one uses tablets. I've been saying this for probably a year and a half. People don't buy tablets. People buy iPads.
Yeah.
I mean, Tim Cook made a point to say 91% of all tablet traffic, web traffic, is coming from the iPad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, no one who's buying a Nexus 7 tablet. I have never seen one in the wild. Never.
Yeah.
I mean, go to Starbucks, go to any coffee shop. You'll see iPads everywhere. You will not see a single Android tab.
Yeah.
And if you do, you're in a place you probably shouldn't go to because it's not very cool. No, hey, there's nothing wrong with Android tabs. I have no problem with it. But I think
our friend Aaron has one.
Yes, but Aaron has
it's not
one.
Android. It's a
Palm
OS.
He has the Palm OS one. So he
just bought it for comic books and web
and he
browsing.
bought it because it was $100.
Yeah.
He'll tell you that.
That's right.
Like,
I forgot. That's the other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you're just gonna buy it, for $100 and just use it for a particular purpose, it might be worth it. But the thing about the iPad is, it's the ecosystem, right? And I always say this in my mind: it's the ecosystem, stupid. Like, you're gonna buy a Nexus 7 tablet, it's not gonna interface with your PC that well, without some ridiculous crappy software that you're gonna have to install on your PC. Like, you buy an iPad, it works with all the apps you already bought. It works seamlessly with your PC or with your Mac, with iTunes. You can iMessage from your Mac or from your iPad, and they all sync perfectly now. You get iCloud access. I mean, there's a whole ecosystem of stuff. There's FaceTime.
Yeah, you don't get FaceTime on the other one.
You don't get FaceTime on that one. I mean, when you have a tablet, you have a tablet. When you have an iPad, you have a device that interacts with everything else in the Apple ecosystem. And the Apple ecosystem is growing. I mean, PCs are staggering. They're not selling as well. Microsoft just announced that they had a 22% decrease in their net revenue. I mean, like PCs aren't selling well, and Apple just keeps making more and more money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my money's on the iPad Mini. It's not perfect. I do think it's a little bit too expensive.
It's $329. And
$329
people
for the
thought it
base
was going to
model.
be like either $250 or $200 or $300.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but I think it's going to sell way better than the Kindle Fire HD because I think it's a better product. So it warrants a better price. Now, I never used that, so I can't say that definitively.
yeah.
But from all the reviews I've read about the Kindle Fire and the hands-on reviews that I've already read for the iPad Mini, I mean, the iPad Mini is just a better product.
And it's like, I totally understand the side of the Android side. I mean, actually, I was just talking to Aaron about this yesterday, our friend, about just like tablets in general. And I totally get like people that want Android, like specifically, not just like, your aunt walks into the Sprint store and gets this Android device. It's like, I'm talking about like the people that actually seek out Android.
Yeah.
They want, customizable, customizable everything. They want to be able to do like this different kinds of hacky things with their device. And it's like, that's not really what I want out of my device. I just want to use it, That was one of the main things I liked about when I switched to Mac. I used to be into PCs. And
was I, yeah.
And it was like, oh, you can just like install it and you don't have to worry about it. You just use it like as a tool instead of like having to like, you kind of get out of that. Some people don't have them in it. Or some people, it's not in everyone to be like, I like to tweak,
Right.
That's not everyone's personality. I think that sometimes, the really hardcore geeks do not grasp that. You know, they're just like,
Yeah.
why on earth would you want to be sandboxed into
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah?
it doesn't have the newest Tegra chip.
Yeah.
It's like the spec wars truly, at least for tablets, are over. Like, these are not computers, they're appliances. And it's not necessarily how fast their processors are, how much memory they have. It's how they work and how fast they are in everyday life, and what you can do with
What can you
these
do with
things.
them? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the fact that I can hand I use this example all the time. My mom has an iPad that I got for her. I FaceTime with her once or twice a week. We text messages all the time. She uses it for YouTube. I mean, this woman has never owned a computer in her life. Computers don't make sense to her, but the iPad does. And I guarantee you, if I handed her a Nexus tablet, like, how is she gonna get pictures on and off of it? How is she gonna figure out how to use the email? How is she gonna figure out how to call me and text message me from that device? Like, she wouldn't be able to figure those things out. And I think she's more the status quo of our populace. Like she's kind of how people are with technology, especially the older generation. They don't want to figure anything out, you know?
Yeah, it's like, why should they? You know what I mean? Like, we've gone this far. Why should tech continue to be like this complicated thing, or this thing that you have to,
or
like,
this thing that you should be proud of, that's really complicated and you figured it out.
Yeah. That's the thing I'm not really into. You know, because most of the time I'm just like, I just want an answer. I don't want to have this be like this, like, 10-step process to get
It's
to
like
something.
driving a car.
You know?
Like, most people don't change their own oil, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to tweak with their engine. They
I don't
want
even
to mess
want.
around.
I don't even want manual transmission.
I don't even want to open my hood. Honestly, I just want my car to work, you know? And it may not be the fastest car. It may not be, you know, the most svelte car, but it works. And, you know, the one thing you got to say about Apple devices is they look beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, they look amazing. They feel good to hold. They feel good to use.
That's the thing, man. It's like,
and they are powerful.
the build quality on the Mini and all the new products are just incredible, and that's a mass-produced product. Like, that's rare, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people sometimes, like, harp on them about, like, oh, I can't believe it's $329 and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, look at the design that you're getting for that thing. Like, that's like the build quality of, like, a crazy nice stereo or like an amazing looking watch, you know, that cost way more because they have a crazy premium on them, and because they're not built in this crazy mass quantity. Like, they make these things in the millions, you know? That's super rare to come out with that.
It really is.
And I don't know. I think all around it's cool that it's sort of like, it inspires other people to create beautiful products in this time, you know?
Yeah.
Because we could just be like Google and be like, design's not important, speed's important, and everything else is just kind of like that just falls by the wayside.
Right. You know? Yeah. Yeah. I definitely don't think that's the way we're moving. Although that's not to say that Apple products aren't fast or, you know, aren't powerful. I think they are.
Oh yeah, no.
But, you know, historically they don't update them as often either. But when they do, you get the absolute newest technology. Oftentimes technology that's not even available in PCs yet. Here's a couple interesting points. So 7.2 millimeters thin. That doesn't really mean anything, but Phil Schiller said it was as thin as a pencil. That's thin.
Yeah.
0.68 pounds. 7.9-inch screen. So I'm really excited. I think I'm going to pre-order. Pre-order starts Friday.
Yeah, I'm not gonna order one. Not because I don't think it's cool. I don't know if I haven't figured out how an iPad fits into my life yet. And maybe I just need to buy one, but I just haven't figured out, like, when I'm ever gonna be in a position to just want to sit down on my couch and use one, you know? So
What just happened?
I don't know.
Look at this.
Yeah. So I like going to the store sometimes and kind of messing with them, but it's different, you know? It's like, it's the difference between having something in your home and using it and just playing with it. I played with my friends' iPads before, but I definitely want to go to the store when it comes out and see it.
Yeah, I want to do that too. You know, to your point about, that kind of looks like Aaron, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I know we talked about you a lot, Aaron. You probably don't even watch this show. To your point about them not being all that useful or just not knowing how you would use it. I mean, it's a good point. I don't use mine on my couch ever. Mine pretty much lives in my bedroom, and I read on it every night. Like I read all my websites. I read books on it, although not as much as I read websites.
That'd be a good one for me then. I think.
It's a fantastic news aggregator. So like I use this app called Pulse, and I enter in probably 50 or 60 or 70 websites, and I can scroll through all their header images and their titles, and just read everything that I want, save the articles if I want, and that's actually primarily what I use it for.
I was talking to Aaron actually about he uses his for a comic book reader, and I could see myself using that because he's like you were saying you wanted to get back into comics, and I was like, yeah, I would, and actually comics now are really cool because they instead of like a paper comic where it has all the balloons, like all the chat balloons, it will actually have like you can press through it and then it will like appear in time, or like an explosion will happen, but it won't be like animation, it will just like happen in sequence. So I was like, that's actually kind of cool. It makes me want to try it, but I don't know, I'm not sure if I want to buy one yet. I do think it was important for Apple, or I think it was important to Apple to fill up this gap of there's people that are never going to pay $500. There's people that want to pay this sub $500 price range. So it's great that they did it. And yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Imagine when they sell the refurbished iPad minis. Too.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
gonna be freaking, $270 for one.
That's nuts.
It's gonna be great.
Then I'll give one to my grandma.
There you go. Yeah. Well, my mom paid for hers. I just picked it out. I was like, I love you, Mom, but. I can't $500 gift you.
Oh, I had one more point to make.
Yeah.
So I was watching Twit, and I was reading some, or on Twit they were doing a live coverage, and I think on MacBreak Weekly they talked about this too. But I was also reading tweets, and it was talking about how Apple in the keynote was comparing the iPad, or one of their products, I think it was the iPad Mini, the iPad Mini to the Nexus 7. Mm-hmm. And then I was reading tweets and also on Twit where they were just like, yeah, that was weird. I can't believe they called them out and like were comparing them head to head like that. That was not cool, Apple.
You were talking about this yesterday.
And I was just like, are you on crack? Because Apple's been doing that for years. And I pulled up some examples of keynotes.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because they've been doing this since the beginning. Like their very first thing was picking a fight with IBM. Mm-hmm. And then they've been doing that ever since with Microsoft and so on and so forth. And people are like, yeah, but
you even got them time coded,
but not by name, I'm
yeah,
like,
I honestly can't recall.
Yes, by name. So here we go.
This is what these things generally look like, right? Something like this, and again, what they are is they have 256 megabytes of memory if they're useful. They hold 60 songs. They're about 0.8 to 1.2 inches thick, and they sell for $199.
So he's talking about the
256, or you buy them with
before they released the iPod Mini.
256 and you go out and pay more and get that memory card. So that's what this market represents in terms of the ones actively.
So this is the Rio, and it says Rio right there.
They also have a really bad user interface. They've got a really small display that doesn't tell you much. And
does he say the name?
Thing, which I guess if you have 15
yeah, and this
songs,
one he does.
Okay, but if you have
he talks about
songs, it gets ridiculous very quickly. Well,
but he doesn't even have to say the name. It says it right there.
Oh, I guess that's why I can't recall. Because for me, like when I think about Steve Jobs talking about another competitor's product, like for me, he need to be like, here's what the iPod does. Now let's compare that to the Zune. Mm-hmm. Here's what I don't like about the Zune. Like instead of just giving like that seemed like a very generic example to me.
Now let's take a look at some competitors. Some of their flash products here. Here's iRiver.
There you go. Yeah. Wow, this is old.
68%
what year
smaller.
is this?
It's 1/3 the size.
Remember when iRiver was a thing? Dude, they were hot for a long time.
Here's another one by a company called Creative.
I used to own one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
That scrolls downwards.
Again, 69% smaller, 1/3 the size. Here's another one. I think this is the Zen Neon.
There you go, dude. Yeah.
Couple more.
Naming all sorts of crap, dropping all sorts of names there.
Name dropping.
This might have been before I started watching the keynotes.
Right? Motorola Q, the BlackBerry, Palm Treo, Nokia E62.
Well, you saw this?
And
this is the antenna gate thing, right?
No, this is the first iPhone.
The problem with them,
oh, I haven't watched this in a
really
long
sort
time.
of in the bottom 40 there. It's this stuff right here. They all have these keyboards that are there whether you need them or not to be there.
And then
Wow.
a really
That's amazing, man, because think about how much has changed since that keynote.
Dude, seriously. That's a good keynote to watch.
Every phone is touchscreen now.
Oh wait, that's not the one I wanted to watch. That's of course Antenna Gate. Y'all remember that?
That was the one instance where I really remember.
Computer, and to use it, all you have to do is learn this. This is a Macintosh from Apple, also a highly sophisticated business computer, and to use it, all you have to do is learn this. Now, you decide which one is more sophisticated. Macintosh, the computer for the rest of us.
So
funny.
all I'm saying is like, I think Apple's like part of Apple's culture has been to, I don't know, pick fights sort of with different competitors. You know, it's trying to tout what's better about their products than competitors.
Mm-hmm.
But Steve Jobs actually said, he's like, well, you know, we're a product company and we need to compare ourselves with what people already know. You know, if people already know these MP3 players, we need to compare ourselves with those MP3 players that are on the market and with these phones that are on the market. So it's like, if there's tablets on the market, of course they're going to be like, yeah, look, we're better than that for these reasons, you know? And I think that's what people are like, I don't know. It's a weird time because people are like, Steve Jobs is gone. He would never do that. It's like, dude, do some research then. Fuck. Like, seriously.
I guess for me, like, even seeing those examples, I'm like, I still can't recall. I'm sure there's other things out there now that you showed me those, but I can't recall him doing that. But maybe that's because they weren't really releasing products that anyone else had at the time, so they didn't really need to compare themselves.
But that's the thing. Even if they introduce something, then when they reiterate after people copy them, then they compare them.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what happened.
Yeah,
with
that
this
does
keynote.
happen. That's when I feel like we get the indirect comparisons, and they're like, our competitors are doing this and this and this. Like the Rio one is the kind of like the idea of what I have them doing, and not like that one where he brought up like all those different phones. Like it's like, wow, I do remember that now that you showed it to me.
But anyway, I just wanted to show you that on the show.
So the bottom line is, don't be an idiot.
And shut up.
Shut up, or Roberto will call you out. Let's just jump right to our not wasting time topic, because speaking of wasting time, we just spent like an hour talking about Apple.
Okay.
So you wanted to talk about being productive on your computer, which is of course a problem that we all have in ID2. Just staying on track, stay on target.
Yeah, stay on target.
When you're on your computer, right?
Red 5.
So what have you been doing?
So yeah, I mean, like you, I work from home.
Yeah.
I have tons of distractions because I have my computer, which is my, you know, work and play and anything computer, right?
Right.
And I also have a TV in front of me and all this kind of stuff, like everything.
Right.
And I often find myself so like, it's like a tick. I always have to be like checking things, you know? I'm always like going to Facebook. Oh, let open a new tab. Go to YouTube. Oh, go to Twitter.
It's actually resisting the urge to become preoccupied with something else, right?
And you just keep doing it. You keep looking at stuff. And I often call this a web loop, where you just are on this loop of the same stupid sites that haven't changed the whole day.
And you're just wasting your time.
And then you go to your phone and do that. And, you know, like, I'll be out and about doing that on my phone. And I really try to actively not do that. So I really like the teachings of the guys from 37 Signals. And they were talking about, you know, if you want to maybe, like, help yourself, you could install something like an extension where it times you or it kicks you off a website, like almost like a parental control for a website. And so I was searching some on Google Chrome, and I found this one called Facebook Nanny. I think it's also called Chrome Nanny. But anyway, you install it, and it looks like this when you install it. You basically just check that box. And what it does is, if you're on Facebook for like more than a minute, I'll show you what happens. So if your computer
explodes,
if you're on Facebook and you're just messing around like I always do and just start scrolling or whatever, and you're on there for I think more than a minute, and there's no notifications or any reason that you should be on here, it will do something.
That's funny.
So it says, Roberto, don't you have work to do? And then it says, well, you can still use messages or visit your profile.
Funny.
Because sometimes you might be like, well, dude, I'm messaging, you know? Or
Yeah, right.
But like, this actually really does help me because I'll just, like I said, it's like almost like a nervous habit. And then I'm like, oh yeah, shoot, okay, let me get out of there. Like, you know? So just that little thing, I think actually is a good little deterrent rather than it being a complete block of the website.
Yeah.
Because that actually might make you waste more time being like, oh, well, fine, I'll go on my phone and mess around, you know? But having that like in your face, like, hey, you know you're not supposed to be messing around with Facebook right now. I think that actually helped me. So I leave that on unless I'm completely not doing work. But I'll leave it on during like my work hours, you know?
It's called Nanny for Google Chrome.
Facebook Nanny.
Facebook Nanny, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I think you can search it in the extensions and it's called Chrome Nanny.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's no, you know, the other one is called Nanny for Google.
You have
Chrome.
time spent on Facebook too?
There's another one, I haven't used this much, but I'll show you. I guess it is enabled, so we can check how much time. So this other one I have called Time Spent on Facebook just tracks the time. Like how much time are you wasting, quote unquote wasting.
Yeah, I would love to actually know that.
And it puts a little clock over in the corner here. And yeah, see, I don't think I had it on. But yeah, I basically would tell you like, look, this is how much time you're spending. And I've heard of this in the past on some other show. And I've often wanted to check it out to see, you know, how much time do I actually spend on
yeah, because I wonder that
websites?
too. You're like, how much time did I spend here?
Yeah, and you can do it for a lot of things. I don't ever use Twitter.com, but I'd be interested to know like how much time I spend refreshing Twitter on the Twitter app, you know? So, you know, in a world of candy-colored icons, I'm often clicking all the time and not paying attention to what I should do. But what about you?
So I've started using a new productivity app. I was using Wunderlist. Wunderlist probably is how they say it, since they're Germans, I think. But
what
Wunderlist,
does that do?
So it's a to-do app that you can use for free. You can download it in the App Store, but I wouldn't. And I'll tell you why in a second. They also have an iPad and an iPhone app. So Wunderlist is great because it allows you to easily create to-do items. And for me, that's essential because when I'm like, the way my mind works, I'm like, okay, what category of my life do I need to focus on for the next 2 hours or whatever? And then I have my tasks in that category that I have to go through. And these tasks come to me the strangest times. And I'm like, oh, I have to remember to do that, right? And that's how I know I'm getting things done. So I was using Wunderlist, and it started having this weird problem. I use kind of like this tracker that shows you like what your Mac's doing all the time, like how your CPU is being used, your memory, and all that stuff. It's called iStat menus. And after I updated Wunderlist probably like 6 months ago, I started noticing my Mac was getting hot all the time. So I realized it was Wunderlist. Like it was making my CPU just constantly run at full capacity. And I Googled it, and other people are having the problem too. And Wunderlist is just not fixing it because they're working on version 2. So they pretty much just stopped working on version 1. So I didn't have a to-do list for a while because I was like, man, I can't use this because it keeps burning up all my battery and all my CPU. So the nice thing though is that it's sunk via the cloud with your iPad, your iPhone. So I started using this new app called Productive, and it does the same thing. It's free.
Can I tape this?
Yeah, that's fine. And you can have like different tasks that you can do. This is one for my CultCast thing, and then there's an an iPhone app that you can use for free as well. It's free to download, and it lets you track all these things via the cloud. And you can organize tasks by priority. You can check them off once they're done. And it's actually more powerful than Wunderlist is, and just as free. So I've been using this a lot recently, and I really love it a lot. And
so it's free.
It's totally free.
On the App Store?
On the App Store, yep.
Nice.
And I really love it a lot. Another nice thing is that it allows you to collaborate on these things called workspaces, which are basically just groups of tasks. And you can assign tasks to one other person. You can do that for free with up to one person. And then they also have a paid model if you want to use this for your team or your business or something, where you can assign these tasks to anyone on your team. And so far, it's great. I mean, the UI isn't as nice as Wunderlist, but it's nice enough. And it's really super useful and has helped me kind of start getting back on track with, tracking my tasks.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been using to kind of keep myself going.
I kind of like the UI being like very simple. Like I'm a fan of even just writing it down on a notepad, and just being like, okay, I did that, check that off, like if it's a to-do simple thing like that. Because like I said, I think I just get distracted with even just like anything visual. I get distracted with,
Yeah, me too.
So like I'm a very visual guy, and if it's like attractive, I'm gonna be like messing around with it and stuff, and rather than have a UI that's just all this craziness, like I sometimes even just do like text edit in full screen so that I don't have anything, not even the dock, to distract me, So I like it when UIs are simple like that.
Well, you should check this out. I mean, it's really helpful because, like you always have so many things that you need to do in different categories of your life.
Yeah.
And if you don't write them down, at least for me, or I don't put them down somewhere, I just forget about them. They just go away. And then 2 months later, I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to do X, Y, Z. And I didn't do it.
I've gone through so many. I was using, what was that one? I don't know, one of these to-do apps. I forgot what it was called.
There's so many now.
Yeah, there's so many now. And it was pre being able to sync to the cloud. So it was stupid too, because it was like you had to
was
do
it
like
Things?
Yeah, it was Things, yeah.
Things is a popular one, and I think the new version is a good app. But yeah, it's $50 for the desktop app. And then I think 20 for the iPad app, and then 10 for the iPhone app. And I'm like,
I probably have.
Jeez, guys.
I probably have a what do you call it? Like I still can download it, but I just never use it. The one that I use from time to time is Evernote, and I use that actually for. I use
Evernote all the time too.
Yeah, I use Evernote for the show when we do any kind of like when something pops into my head, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to remember that for user friendly. I'll throw it into Evernote. What else? I don't know. Some other.
Oh, dude, you'd probably like the Evernote extension then.
Oh yeah.
Because you can click this, right? And then it's like, oh, it's called the web clipper, and it's like, what category of your Evernote thing do you want to put this in? Mm-hmm. And then you just hit save, boom, done. You don't even have to keep track of it like in Evernote itself. Oh. And then you can go to Evernote, and in whatever category you put stuff in, it's like, oh, well, here's your story.
Oh yeah, I bet you use the hell out of that.
I use it all the time. I use it for Cult Cast constantly.
Let me see it.
So this thing called Evernote web clipper, and you just put it in, and you can click it on any web page. You can add tags and comments, and then you can categorize it however you want, right? And then once you're done, you just hit save, and it clips the article. It clips the article. It clips the article. And let's see if it...
Clip the article.
Yep, there it is. It's blank because we were looking at an image.
Cool.
But yeah, and that is one of the best ways to keep track of stuff on the web for me anyway.
I showed you how to do separate accounts on Google Chrome, didn't I?
Yes.
Before that, you were doing that. That's another one that I like too. For us, though, we manage like multiple accounts. I have one for Throwboy, I have one for User Friendly, and I have one for me, and probably a few more.
Right.
Google Chrome is really nice because you can have these separate accounts associated with the same web browser. What I used to do is I downloaded like Firefox, Safari, and like a couple other web browsers for each like person that I was.
I used to do that too. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm Throwboy, I'm gonna be using this now. Yep. I have a friend that actually he got an iPhone 5, and he keeps his iPhone 4 with just no SIM, and he's his business from his 4 and himself from his 5.
That's pretty funny.
But anyway, this is the little extension icon, or not extension, what do they call this, account?
Little user icon.
Yeah. So I have the little pizza for myself, and then I have. This one I think is user friendly, and this is something else. So
that's fluffy.
But so that actually helps me a lot when I'm doing the web thing.
There you go. Get out there and be productive in your life.
Yeah.
Quit being such a slacker, McFly.
Is there anything else?
I think that's it, man. That's all we got.
All right.
That's enough. How much good stuff do you want to put in one show? We gotta save something for next time.
That's my motto.
We always save so much for next time.
Wait, actually, I have one other cool thing.
What?
This sweatshirt that I'm wearing.
Oh yeah.
So this is from our friends at Hide and Seek Clothing, and I just got this in the mail like last week. I really like it a lot. Hide and Seek is out of Montana, and They make everything in the U.S. It's really, really high quality fabric and everything like that. And printing.
So soft, so fresh, and so clean.
But I've been wearing this like a bunch lately, and I wanted to show you this because we're both into packaging. Mm-hmm. This came in the mail in this box.
Right. That's hilarious.
And I actually had a sneak peek of what this packaging was like because I happened to turn up at somebody's house when they received one. But this is really cool. So it comes in this pizza box.
Right.
And
dude, that has got to be a fortune to ship too.
In the pizza box, they have like all this extra pizza-like stuff in it. So I'll show you guys. Actually, let's just do it on my camera.
It's me, Mario.
I didn't have enough stuff to edit into this show.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so.
Cool. So you get a little sticker and stuff?
Yeah, here I'll do a. So it looks like this on the outside. On the inside, it looks like this.
That's funny.
So you get some stickers, or at least I did, because I know people.
Because you're special.
I got a button.
This looks good.
And then this is really cool too. Look how it looks like a flyer.
It does.
But if you read some of them, they're just kind of like funny little things. Like what this one.
That's great.
Read the extra cheesy one right there in the corner.
Thanks so much for your recent order. It means the world to me. Free hugs and high fives. This offer will never expire.
And then this is like looks like cheese, but it's just like a Facebook thing.
That's funny.
I just think this is really cool. I love this kind of attention to detail.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'm jealous of your packaging, guys.
It looks really good.
So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out. hideandseekclothing.com.
All right, fantastic.
So
they're gonna make freaking bankloads of sales now. They've been on this show.
Where can we find you, my friend?
Hey, so if you want to read my tweets, you could do so. I'm at Erfon on Twitter, and these days I'm tweeting a lot of Apple stuff and my favorite gifts. What about you?
You can just find me on Twitter at Roberto Hoyos, ROBERTOHOYOS.
Or at Throwboy.
At Throwboy. And throwboy.com is where I put everything.
Hey, you can catch more user-friendly at youtube.com/user-friendly show, or of course you should subscribe on iTunes. That's just search for user-friendly show on iTunes and look for Roberto and I's smiling faces.
And if you watch our show, go ahead and leave us a review on iTunes, please.
That would be great.
Because we have like 2, and we know we have more than two people that watch.
We know there are at least 7 of you watching.
Yeah.
So if you would please leave us a glowing review saying how sexy I am and how Roberto can never match up to that, that would be great. Now that we both have mustaches, tell us which one is sexier.
I think I might be doing Movember again.
Dude, I'm doing it by default. I win.
That's not how it works.
What do you mean? I already got it. I'll just tell them that I started growing on October 31st. And they'll be like, that's amazing. I'm like, I know.
That's still not how it works. All right. Well, anyway.
All right, cool. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.
See ya.